Hey guys, gals, and MB. So today I don't want to make like a really specific video, but I guess we're going to take the Echolocator from Erica Synths and the Nightverb, and we're going to mix them together and see if I feel a little differently about the Echolocator review that I did. I think I do. I've been messing with these for a little bit together, and they do pair very nicely. And I'll be using the Korg Mutli Poly, which I haven't used in a while. And we could just make a cool little patch with the multi-poly to begin with. So I have an init patch here. And let's make it interesting. Let's use some of the digital functionality. I really like the multi-poly. I think still, at least within, it's probably had to be in the last 10 years. It's probably one of the most interesting synths made, especially VA synths, at least purely digital. I mean, still, I always say that the Summit/Peak is probably one of my favorite digital hybrid synths, but this is fantastic. So we're going to use one of the digital waveforms. So I'll go down here to digital. And these are wavetables. We have quite a few to choose from. I really like this one called Cloud Fluff. It's really nice. If you scan through it, it almost sounds like it has some fifths through it. Maybe I'm wrong, but it does sound really nice. And let's go ahead and make this kind of a plucked patch. Actually, let's go back out here. Let's enter that and let's see what this wavetable kind of looks like, right? And of course, we have like a PWM function on it too. Let's keep it in the middle. Let's go ahead and scan it to make it a little more interesting. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and add a new mod. Let's do that. I think you do this. No, you do this. There you go. No results. Oh, what am I doing wrong? Oh, there you go. You hold mod and then you press right. I always forget that. All right. So our mod destination is going to be the index location of the wavetable, and we'll use the pitch envelope. I don't generally, or not pitch envelope, but pitch LFO. I don't use the pitch LFO all that often, so that's pretty cool that we have a few that we can choose from. I don't use the filter ones either. I use the pitch sometimes to make a little bit of a vibrato, but all right, let's go ahead and change it to pitch. So pitch LFO is going to be controlling the index, and let's press enter, and let's turn that up. And now with the frequency of the pitch envelope. Will control the index. Yeah, so we almost have kind of an, I was going to say an organ sound. Let's go ahead and make that a pluck sound, and it'll sound a lot cooler. So let's go ahead and turn the cutoff all the way down. Let's choose the low pass filter from the MS-20. It's one of my favorites. Let's turn the intensity all the way up for the envelope. Go to the filter envelope. Let's actually add some release on the amp envelope first. Doesn't matter really too much. I guess we don't want to get too much into voice stealing, so let's turn that to about 13 seconds. Let's go to the filter envelope. And I think that sounds pretty cool. Let's turn down the speed of the indexing of that wavetable. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of bottom into that, shall we? Let's turn on a second oscillator. And we're going to make that an octave below. And let's change the wave shape. Let's make it a square. No. Let's use a digital. Let's go through them really quick. That's a really, really high-pitched one. Don't really like that too much. This one's really nice. What is it? The chimeric? It's pretty complex if you look there. Go ahead and shape the envelope to make it plucked a little more. That's just a little much. So let's turn down the sustain quite a bit on the filter, and then let's just use the decay. Can add a little bit of resonance, make it a little. Turn the intensity down. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of tacky sounding, but it definitely has the feel of a wavetable sound, doesn't it? We could add a little more decay. Alright, I think that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and move over to the echolocator. Let's add a little bit of echolocation to it. Very nice sounding now, isn't it? All right, so what you see is what we have going on right now. We don't have too much going. We have a little bit of filtering, actually quite a bit of filtering, so. I want to go ahead and make it a fairly dark sounding delay. Something nice dark sounding on the delay side. I'm kind of going over how I use effects too in this video, but if we have something so bright going into it, I like to make the delay sound a little bit darker. Otherwise it's a little overbearing, like if I open that up all the way. I think that's a little overbearing, so let's go ahead, turn it back down. We can mess with the pitch section too, but that's going to get a little higher if we using an octave up. Let's use an octave down. Let's see what that kind of sounds like as a pad, shall we? Instead of doing this, so let's turn the sustain all the way up. Let's give it some attack, huh? Alright, I actually kind of like that as a pad instead of a pluck sound, don't you? I think it's cool. That's with the delay. This is with nothing again. Could add a little more modulation. Let's add a little bit more of the orbit. That might be a little too much modulation. Remember that the orbit is like your flutter and the regular modulation is like your wow. So this is your slow up and down rhythmic modulation, and this is your fast sputtery modulation. So yeah, let's add like 100 to that, huh? I think that sounds pretty cool, don't you? All right, let's, I have a tap switch here. I've told you about this before. I'm using a tap switch to control the echolocator so I don't have to hold down the freeze button in order to bypass it. So let's go ahead and bypass it. And then let's go to the Nightverb and let's get something good sounding with the Nightverb. All right, and that's not hard to do because the Nightverb just always sounds good, doesn't it? Right, so the shape control, I believe, changes the shape of, like, think of it like changing the shape of a room, but that's not exactly what it's doing. It's kind of controlling how the early and late reflections play with each other, along with the early and late reflections control. Let's have a little more late reflections. Let's bring that back a little here. Turn up the size a little. We don't need too much feedback because we're going to be feeding a delay into it. So just to say, the echolator over here, yeah, I know the setup looks a little weird because I have these stacked on top of each other in real life, and we have these like to the left and right in the video frame, but so yeah, the echolocator is going into the Nightverb. And it's really taming the high frequencies of the multi-poly. Spin is our modulation. I like to keep it way up. It just sounds really nice. And then we have low dampening and high dampening. So that kind of controls how long it takes for the high frequencies to decay versus the low frequencies to decay within the actual like feedback loop. And obviously we also have a bass and treble control as well to help with that. So I turn this all the way up. Actually, that turns it all the way down. I'm sorry, that squashes the highs as much as possible versus if I have it at 0 dB. As you can hear, the decay of the high frequencies takes quite a bit longer. I like to keep it quite high though because I like it to be a very dark sounding reverb. Then we can make the size a lot larger. Let's add just more feedback anyway, even if we're going to add both of them together. Alright, that's pretty nice sounding, isn't it? Of course I keep the stereo all the way up. Why wouldn't you want to? Let's go ahead, and I think that sounds really good so far. So let's go ahead and add the echolocator to the mix. It should be added now. Gorgeous, isn't it? I think it's gorgeous. All right, so that kind of gives the idea of what we can do with a complex patch with these two effects units, and I think it works. Obviously, it should, because any good effects unit should sound good with any synth. But here, let's do something a little different. Let me go ahead and bypass everything. And let's do the simplest patch that I can think I can do. We can do a triangle flute. So let's go ahead and make a new patch. So go into performance mode. All right, cool. And what we're going to do is we're just going to use a simple waveform. So let's go over here. Let's make it a triangle. There we go. And to make this sound kind of like a flute, let's add a little bit of attack. So let's go over here to the amp envelope and add some release. Just to mention, I have my launch key Mark IV off screen right now. All right, really nice, huh? Okay, so now let's hear it with the echolocator. That's with a low down shimmer. Let's do actually a high, a 1 octave up shimmer. Oh, that's actually really gorgeous, huh? Okay, just from the sound of that, I know it's going to sound great with the Nightverb, but let's hear the Nightverb by itself. Let's go ahead and change the early to late reflections. It sustains forever, but it's very subtle underneath, like a pad almost. Isn't that really nice? Let's go ahead and turn off the high frequency dampening, or turn it down just a little. And now let's bring in the echolocator. Yeah, so that's kind of it. That's just, like I said, I'm kind of just making a quick video that I wanted to mess around with these two on camera and mess around a little bit with the Korg Mutli Poly some. I love this synth quite a bit. And the echolocator, while it's not my favorite delay, it is kind of growing on me. It is fairly easy to make some good sounding patches out of it. Nightverb, however, like I always say, the Nightverb is one of my favorite ambient reverbs ever. I use it quite a bit, so. I honestly think for the price of the echolocator, I always call it the echolator. It just, I don't know. But the echolocator, you could get something like, for cheaper, you could definitely get something like the Microcosm, which I think just does a lot more in the pitch game, and it has a much nicer granular system. You could even get the Zoya, which I just brought up in my last video, is a little much and a little complicated for what it is for a standard synth player or guitarist, but it can do a lot more. I mean, it does sound good. It's just very expensive for what it does. Now the Nightverb, like I said, that's just gorgeous. And it really does pair nicely, so that's just with the Nightverb. I just turned off the echolocator. And of course you can go like really short. but it still sounds gorgeous. Can do a 50-50 to the early and late reflections. If we turn it all the way up here, then you just get late reflections. Kind of has a bloom sound to it, but yeah, we'll just keep it 50-50. And then bringing in the echolator again. I mean, the pitch shifting's pretty good on it. I still think the pitch shifting is far better on something like the Microcosm or even the Raster version 2 from Red Panda. Kind of miss that pedal. I might get another Raster version 2 eventually down the line before they become hard to get. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's the video. Kind of just wanted to show off the combinations. They do sound very good together. I won't deny that. Alright, if you like this video and you like my content and you haven't subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you like this video in particular, give me a thumbs up and I will see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.